What's up? alexy1 here playing ALIAS. And he plays a6, so I'm just gonna respond with a4. That's actually pretty interesting. I wasn't gonna go for any re-Lopez or something. So it's a normal e4, e5 position, but with a4, a6 interposed. And not d5, but we can take on f6. Due to the extra move of bishop e6, I'm just up a piece now. So yeah, we're doing very good here. Being up a piece against two pawns though, so not the end of the world for him. But it seems like we're gonna win an extra pawn now. Oh, we're not. I thought we were, but we're not. We're not. Yeah. So h3, I think? And he's gonna definitely go for a c5 here. It's not as easy as it seems. I think bishop d2, and I'm gonna take with the pawn actually. I do need to do something about this knight. If a5, then c4, I guess. So let's just defend against that. Yeah, now I need to move this knight somewhere. This is one possible way to go to b5. It's very strange to put your knight on a1, but it's also pretty logical as well. Yeah, I should take now. He's gonna take with the pawn, for sure. So he does have a pretty nice pawn mass. But I have an extra piece, although my pieces are not really doing anything as of yet. They might be able to do something in the future though, so for now he's just gonna move his pawns up. And my task is to actually trade pieces, I think. Queen f5 might have been a move for him. I'm gonna take. Huh. Interesting, interesting. So rook g7 is coming. Queen g4 isn't really an option. Queen f3 is an option, but yeah, well, I should do it, I think. My pawn structure is just bad though, so that's quite annoying. Although if he takes pawn takes, we could attack this weakish pawn with f4. And we've managed to defend against e4. Okay, so now this might be a move for sure. Now f4. Where do we go? We could also go to e8 actually. I think I kind of like that. There's no way for him to win my knight here, as far as I can see, at least. And now we're gonna pick up a pawn somewhere. And when we're picking up one pawn, then the whole pawn center might be weaker. That's a good move by him. If he doesn't watch out, I'm gonna mate him. Yeah, let's take there. So there's a check on d7 here, and now there's a well, check on d5 and then taking the rook. And he's gonna resign. Let's have a look here. Pretty good game, I think. So e4, a6. Yeah, it is pretty strange, to be honest. So normally you continue with d4 here. And, well, they go e6 here normally. And this is, the St. John's or such. This something like that. St. John's, I think. St. George. I don't know, something like that. So the idea is if c4, then you're gonna go b5. It's totally strange. I think Adams played this against Karpov, something like that, in a match. And my dad used to play this kind of line, and I just figured if he goes a6, I'm just gonna go a4 and be done with it. So there's never a b5. But it's interesting. This is just now you've interposed some moves, and if e5 here, Black has managed to make a normal move. A6 is definitely a normal move in the Spanish, the Ruy Lopez, and whereas A4 is not. So yeah, it is quite interesting as to what the main differences are here. He could take on E4. I mean, there are some like this is a normal position with the pawns on A7 and A2, and then taking on E4 is just fine. You could go bishop D5 and then take on C6, take on E5, and I guess I was gonna do that. T4 is also a move, and then castle. I don't know what the exact differences are, but we went for this, and he played this weird looking move, which just loses a piece. Although it's definitely not easy yet, because I did make some normal looking moves here. So we went bishop g4, which is, I think, the only way to defend this pawn against losing that pawn. I mean, although there might be a way. Yeah, bishop e2 might be the way, because I'm threatening knight takes d4, and if he takes on f3, then he can't really defend d4 now. Well, he can go knight c6 though. But at least this pawn stays on c7 and doesn't get to c5, because that made my life a bit harder. This b6 move is pretty good, so he's just gonna go c5 next. And first I wanted to go bishop d2, and if he takes on d3 I was gonna take with the queen, but c5 and c4 is a threat. So I think in the end I figured out I had to go bishop d2 and then c takes d. So if a5, which is an alternative, he has to go c5. If he goes b5, then c5 is never really an option for him. For one, we could go something like queen g4 and just take on d4 next move. So he has to go c5, but this is actually pretty annoying. c4 is definitely a real threat. So we went bishop d2 and c takes d. c5. I might have had to go for a5. c4 takes, and I don't know. This was my problem. What should I do here? The answer says bishop b4, which I totally missed. And this is actually very good. Because now we're just gonna be material up. The pawns are not an issue anymore. We're just an exchange up here. So yeah, I missed that the idea of bishop b4. This is very strong. So instead we went rook c1 to defend against the c4 push, and I think he had to go rook c8 to try and keep pushing c4. But instead he went a5, which is also very good, because now I can never attack his pawn chain. If this pawn were to be on a6, I could go for a5 somewhere and attack it, but now I can't really. So I went for knight a1. My knight here is doing nothing. And yeah, where could it go? So to c2 and a3 and b5, this is the main point. Also, I can go. The knight has to move because then I could play b3 and stop c4 for as long as I want. So yeah, I quite like it. Knight c2, and I took here. F takes is logical as well, and I went knight a3 here. Queen j4 is definitely an alternative. Because I want to exchange these pieces, this bishop for this bishop. And also, if I go queen g4, then e5 is not yet possible. So I stopped that for a moment as well. Yeah. So queen g4 might have been better here. I want to exchange pieces, and this ending is pretty easy to defend. Although I have to watch out for e4 here. It seems like I'm winning a pawn now. So if e4 is not possible, then I can go f3 next and just steadily build. Because the pawns aren't going anywhere, black's pawns. And I'd be doing very good here. Queen f5 is definitely an interesting move. In combination with g takes. So rook d7 is definitely in the air, so there are 3 moves here, I guess. Queen g4, queen f3, and queen h4 might be a move as well. Although I doubt it. It's just working on. But queen g4 is the main suggestion by the computer. I don't see what happens after queen takes d3. This was my problem. I saw that I could check there. I did not see this queen d8. So the rook has to move. If he goes to e6, then queen d7, check, winning the rook. So he has to go to f7, but I guess knight d6 then. And the rook is somehow somewhat trapped. If rook f8, then probably queen e7, d7. This is the point. Yeah, okay, I agree. This is crushing. Yeah, those types of moves are hard to see. So then queen g4 just is much better. Because the pawn structure after queen g4 is better for me than the pawn structure here. Although this doubled pawn on the f file is actually somewhat nice. Because I could just attack the center twice. I could go f4, and if he doesn't do anything, I could take and play f4 again. F4 here was definitely a move, but I like this knight c7 as well. And now f4. So if he takes, I wasn't yet sure what I was gonna do. I'm definitely gonna enter my rook somewhere. Might be e6, might be e8, might be e7. I think I like e6. He has to take or go rook d7. If he takes though, this is just outright winning. Because these pawns are never gonna go anywhere. I'm just gonna go to f4, take this one, take that one, and then just take them all. So he has to go to d7, and then rook c6. I like 98 better, just like in the game. And yeah, this ending is just horrible for him. So he didn't take on f4. He played rook d7, but then 98 is definitely a very nice move. I'm attacking f6. He can't really Well, he can defend it, but yeah, then I would win e5, just like in the game. Rook f3 was a valid chance though. Rook d7. And now, yeah, this is an easy win, I think. Rook takes b6 is a nice move. If he takes here, this is just winning, since my king is also close. If my king were to be on h8, for instance, well, it would probably still win, but it's harder. um, but if anything else, if I can't defend the pawns with my knight, then my king is always close enough. So he can't take. He should have taken on h3, I think. But then knight d7, knight takes c5. We're just winning that. So it's over here, I think. Now it's definitely over. And here you resigned. So pretty sweet game. With a very strange opening. It was a strange game all in all. I do like my knight a1 idea here. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.